7.
What time is it over there?
Benny.
Yeah, what's up?
What's the time?
It's 11 p.m.
Oh shit.
That's not too bad.
No.
Considering you're usually up at like, what, 3 playing PUBG?
Yeah, no, I gotta sleep early though. I got work tomorrow.
Fair enough.
Oh, it says we are starting the stream. We're starting.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. All right.
Oh, and we are definitely live.
Oh, we're live now?
We totally are. Damn.
Okay, cool.
Right on the dot, man. How's it going, guys? Vaping Iwi as per usual. Tom's sitting there on his phone doing what Tom does best.
Not at all.
Also, we are joined by a very, very special guest tonight. We will
Oh my god, I'm not even
introduce him very soon. Yeah, I mean, you know, in New Zealand, like, you are quite a well-known character.
Oh god.
So what we'll do is we'll go over what we're kind of vaping on and then get on into the show. So,
yeah, let's get into the show.
Benny, what are you vaping on, dude?
I'm vaping on, like mod or what?
Mod, juice,
mod.
RDA, whatever.
Never.
Okay, so pretty much I'm vaping on this Gani. It's from my very good friend Gianluca in Italy. Resembles a bullet, and it's one of 4 white palladium Ganis. The RDA I'm using is a Kennedy, and as you can see, the cap that comes with it fits directly on a Kennedy. And the build that I'm using is a 24 gauge parallel around a 4mm 6 wrap. And reds, but I'm not using the bottom. I'm just kind of using this because it's more convenient.
Yeah, as we all do. Tom, what are we hitting tonight?
Yeah,
Multitude of shit, mate. Fuck me. Tonight, just in honor of Benny being here.
Yeah.
We've got the Scoundrel with a Comp Life battle deck and cap on top. The RX Gen 3 with the Recoil Rebel. I've got the Series Fucked Up with the Peerless on top. How about you, Cam?
Damn. Dude, so we're both running two of the same devices. So RX Gen 3, matchy, same color. With the Goon 1.5. We will possibly, if there's time, go over this later on. Also, the... Jesus, that is whistly as shit, Tom. The Haku Phenom on top of the Rock Mods Squonk. One of my faves. And then the series Legit Mods, Recoil Rebel. And then I'm just using like a multitude of juices. So I've got the Burst, Berry Burst. The one from Bed Vape Co. And also Capiche Vapourium. So one New Zealand brand out of everything. Shocking, dude. Okay, so how's it going, guys? Everyone in chat, what's up? Graham, Dave, Daniel, Hayes, and Tom. Hey, Tom.
What's up?
So I don't know if you want to ask the first question, but...
All right, man. So, Gene, first question of the day. So who are you for the people who aren't aware of your past and present?
Who am I? Okay, hold on. This one is gonna... Man, it's kind of hard to describe who I am, to be honest. I mean, I want to say... Oh my god. I want to say that I'm just a regular guy. You know, nobody special. I mean, so I started off, you know, kind of working at AV as, you know, their graphic designer and stuff. Did their website for some time and some apparel for them. And then at one point, I just kind of felt like, you know, it was time for me to move on and kind of do my own thing. And at the time I was still going to college, so pretty much I don't know, it was either take a job at Nike or design mech mods. And I chose designing mech mods because everyone's like, oh, you should do it, you would do awesome. And I was like, I don't know, you know. So I ended up making the company League of Scoundrels. And yeah, I mean, the rest is history from there.
Definitely is, dude.
Yeah.
So presently, like, what are you doing currently, right this second, with, you know, either vaping or other things to add on to that question?
Let's start with vaping, since like majority of your audience are vapors, right? So pretty much currently right now I'm working with 3 different companies: AIV, SVF, BF mods. It's the Squonk Box mod company, and the Bestia, which is like a really little 18, or is it? I'm not even sure what the battery size is, but I'm making some designs for them. You know, so everybody that's like, oh, are we ever going to see anything from Benny again? Yes, you're definitely going to see stuff from Benny again. That's just like something that I probably won't deny doing, especially if people were to approach me about doing it. And then the other one is I'm currently the creative content director for El Gallo, which is a medical marijuana company that makes concentrates and has a device that you put the concentrate in, just so you know, people that need the medicinal purposes of marijuana can, you know, use it with ease. I mean, the device is pretty awesome. You know, you don't have like the tight draw that's associated with, let's say, the PAX era or anything like that. It's a very airy device, which means you'll probably get a similar draw to using like a Scoundrel with a Kennedy. So you know, I want to say it's like the first of its kind in terms of like the weed industry, because you're used to those little cartomizers and then the little pens, and then that's all you get. But this one, we're actually including like a discrete vape mod with it, you know, for people that need the medicinal effects of marijuana.
Damn, you're a busy dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Holy shit, man.
You know, when I can game, I game. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, go big or go home. So I kind of just, you know, try to do everything that I can with that.
Yeah, I mean, might as well keep busy while you're young, you know.
I mean, I'm definitely not getting any younger, so.
Oh, the next one. This could be the longest answer. Well,
it's cool.
So tell us your origin story. So, you know, why you started vaping, what you started on, all that sort of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this one's easy. This one's super easy.
Oh, sweet.
So, you know, pretty much I was in the military, and you know, I kind of picked up the habit of smoking cigarettes like when I was in high school.
Yep.
I wasn't like, it was like a social thing, you know. So I was like smoking cigarettes socially. It wasn't like to the point where I would be buying like packs and packs and packs like every other week or whatever. And plus I was in high school, so I couldn't really like go inside a liquor store and go buy cigarettes. But you know, it just started kind of going on from there, where, you know, in the military, there was like smoke breaks. You know, you eat breakfast, and you smoke a cigarette, you do PT, and then you smoke a cigarette, or you smoke a cigarette before PT. It was just like, it's like everywhere I went, like there was cigarettes or tobacco product everywhere. Yeah. So at one point too, I was like dipping, which is like super bad for your lungs.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're like out all day, and then, you know, you get back into the barracks and it's like 11 o'clock, you know what I mean? And then you have to sleep for like, I want to say like 4 or 5 hours, and then wake up the next morning to do PT or do whatever task that needs to get done. You know, you need something to like kind of like wake you up.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
for me, it was dip, because the thing is, The dip, I guess the packets have like little tiny fiberglass in it, so it cuts your gums, so you can get the nicotine inside your gums. That's why it's extremely bad for you, because you can feel it. It burns like all right
because
here.
people get like holes through the mouth, obviously from dip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get like ulcers and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was doing that for about 7 years while I was in the military, and it was like I couldn't feel it because I was exercising every day. You know, we were running like anywhere between 5 to 12 miles, you know, 3-4 times a day, sometimes longer than that. And then we were doing like road marches with like, you know, 150 pounds worth of equipment, and you know, like when you're in the military, you're probably like in the best shape of your life if you're like one of those go-getters where you just, you know, work out all the time and stuff like that. And on top of that too, like my job was like really intensive. You know, when we would go on deployments, we'd like go out for, I want to say, you know, anywhere between like a week to like 2 weeks, and we'd like stay in like a base out there that was like super remote. And then, you know, we didn't really have like the luxuries other people did living on base, overseas on deployment. So, you know, when we would go back on base, we'd go to the PX and go buy cigarettes, dip, all that bad stuff for you.
Yeah.
And again, I couldn't feel it because I was like doing physical things every single day. So I couldn't really like gauge like the state of where my health was. And then on my last tour in Afghanistan, you know, I got injured. You know, I got medevaced, and then, you know, I was like out for like, I want to say like 2-3 weeks because, you know, one of the injuries I had was a torn ACL. At the time, I didn't even know it was torn. I just thought like I'd like dislocated my knee. I didn't even think there is a such thing as dislocating your knee. But you know, I was out for a little bit, but I was like, they're like, okay, you can go home. And I was like, no, I don't want to go home. What the heck? Like, I'm already out here. Don't send me home. That's super expensive just trying to send me home. So you know, I just finished out my tour, and I mean, I did the rest of my tour with a leg brace and like really tight bandaging around my knee. And I mean, I was like hobbling. Yeah, it was like so crazy. So when I got back home, they were like, okay, well, you kind of really fucked up your knee. So your back and all this other stuff. So you're going to have to go to a transition unit to like kind of like rehabilitate you before you leave the military. Cause that was like the end of like my 8-year contract.
Yep.
So when I went, I wasn't doing physical exercising like everybody else was doing. You know, I wasn't like always out running around and doing all that. I mean, I tried to do it as much as I could, but you know, just like having like knee and lower back problems and all that, it just really like made working out super difficult.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started feeling the effects of like the cigarettes and the dip and all that tobacco stuff. You know, it was really hard for me to breathe. The less I did PT, the less fit I felt. You know, I could feel like, you know, kind of like heaviness in climbing, or heaviness in my chest, like trying to like walk up a flight of stairs. It was just super bad. So I ended up pretty much, you know, somebody was like vaping, and I was like, what's that? And they're like, oh, it's a vaporizer. And I was like, oh, you know, what does that do? You know, is it bad for you? And they're like, no, it's actually a way to quit smoking cigarettes. And at the time, and I was like, oh, you know, that's not such a bad deal. But after it, and this was like back in like 2010. So it was just like one of those like pens with the cartomizer.
Egos and
egos and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, well, you know, maybe I'll try that out. But I never really got around to actually picking one up until I was like almost out of the military. And that's when I eventually picked one out. And my first mod was like an Ego C-Twist with a Saturn V2 tank, and it was just like silicone inside.
Yeah.
And the bad part was you couldn't re-weight. There was like no such thing as a re-weight. Once that thing was done, it was done, and you had to go buy a new one. But they were like $15. So I was just like, okay, you know what, this was, you know, and I started out at like 20 nick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I was like, dude, what the heck is this? Like, and then I like did it for like 2 months, and it wasn't good, and I just ended up putting it down and like forgetting about it. And then, you know, after some time, I've probably already done like a year in school. And I visited a local vape shop because I wanted to pick it back up, but I wanted like to feel it more. And that's when I got like my first mech. It was a Caravella clone with a clone Tobe Addy. And then my first build was like a 24 gauge 4 wrap. So everyone was like struggling with like 26 gauge. I was like, in with the 24 and the 22 gauge.
Yep.
And even 22 gauge at the time was like the hot shit. So that's pretty much like, where it all started. Then I started cloud chasing, and then I started collecting AV mods because AV mods were authentic. AV mods were like the best thing on the market. And I was like, you know what? Let me collect this stuff because I like good quality things.
Yeah.
And at the time, AV was like at the top. There was like no other mech mod out there that could like top an AV mod because you can customize it. All the caps look great, and they all worked with the #1 Addy that everybody was using, which was, I believe, that tugboat. It was like a tugboat, and then they had the tugboat V2, which had like it had like better pulse holes and stuff like that. And I was like cloud chasing for a little bit. I actually like qualified for SoCal Vape Expo, which was a big deal, especially for somebody that was like only cloud chasing for like, I don't know, 4 months at the time.
Shit.
And then it was like 5 months after that, I got picked up by AV, and I was like working at AV for a while. So like a lot of the designs on the aileron or a lot of the designs on the Ables, the aileron and stuff like that, I created. I made their website, all the apparel with the cloud chaser ingredients on the back, wicked up daily, all the hats and stuff. I ordered the hats and all that. So it was pretty good. I mean, and then when it was time for me to leave, I was still on the AV page, and I kind of just like, somebody put it out there and was like, Benny, you should make a mod. And I was like, nah, I don't know about that. And then of course the rest after that was history. But that's how I started vaping.
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn.
Nice. Very solid beginning.
To jump straight to a mech from an ego?
Pretty much,
yeah.
Dude.
Well, no, because the thing was, the shop that I went to, the very first shop that I went to, right? Oh, hold on. No, I don't have my phone. Anyways, the very first shop that I went to, they actually taught me how to build. They showed me what builds, and they actually, like, when you could touch mods in the US and actually rebuild for your customers at shops, they did all that for me. And then, pretty much all I did was just, learn from there and just learn more about Ohm's law, battery safety, this and that. And at the time, there weren't that many regulated devices that could really, because everybody was using like DNA 40s and stuff like that, and they were all super expensive. Like it was like for a good box mod, you were paying like $2-3 grand, right? So it was like, I was like, I don't want to do that. I just stick to, what I know. Like I was comfortable buying like $4,000 or $500 or $500 mechs.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I was working at AV, so I didn't have to buy anything. And plus, I prefer like the hit of a mech because it feels like more real. It feels more, it just feels comfortable to me. Like, and I didn't have to really rely on like adjusting wattage. If I wanted a hotter build, I made a build that was hotter. If I wanted one that would save my battery life, then I build at a higher ohm. So I mean, it's just really about like, if you're really serious about what you're doing, it's just really about going out there and learning as much as you can. It's not like there's a shortage of people that can teach you.
Yeah, there's so much knowledge. There really is. Yeah.
And that's what I really don't get about like people that are like jumping into vaping. They just like pick up something and they're like, oh, cool, I can do this. Where it's really like, no, you really can't. And I think that's what's wrong with like a lot of people that like vape now. especially a lot of the new guys, they're just like, oh yeah, let me just jump into this, instead of just like, asking somebody and saying, hey, how do I do this? Or hey, what's a good build for this? I mean,
Yeah.
and then you have the one other thing too, is like where, somebody were to ask a question and then somebody would jump in and be like, oh, you don't know that? Like, what the fuck, you shouldn't be vaping. And that's like super wrong too. Because I'm pretty sure if somebody's told me that, I would be like, I would have never, vaped again. Or I would have never like, went any further and just like kind of like stayed with my ego C-twist and try to make the best of it. But the thing is, people don't get, like, when you start vaping and you start like your vaping journey, so to say, you just progress. You progress, and it's like, you start at like little clouds with higher nick, but you end up wanting to get the bigger clouds with lower nick.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I think that's like a whole part of the reason why it's so easy for people to quit, because they're replacing one habit with something that's like slightly better. And the other thing too is, it's like when you blow a big cloud, it's just kind of like, it gives you that satisfaction. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
Like, that shit looks nice, and then like, I mean, I don't condone like people blowing huge ass clouds out in public or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, when you're at your house and you're just like hanging out with a couple of your friends, you're just like, man, that cloud looks kind of cool, So, it's just like, it's really sad how like some people like put down people trying to learn. Yeah, and I think that's like part of the reason why, like, it's hard for newcomers or just like people trying to grow from their current situation. It's hard for them to like advance because of all the negativity.
Damn, Benny laying down that truth. I like, that's exactly it, man. I wouldn't be where I am now with like, for 3 years, legitimately, I used this box right here, and I taste MVP 3.0, 30 watt.
Yeah.
Like VV Nova sort of thing on top. And without people going, there's mechs out there, I wouldn't be, building and all that sort of thing at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly what Benny said, there is quite a bit of negativity, but there are so many people with the knowledge that you might as well just keep throwing it out.
Definitely. And the whole thing at the end of the day is to be a community. Like we may be vapors and all that stuff, but we do have other common grounds. Like us, for example, playing PUBG, on a cruisy night. Like, we can all be friends, which is obvious as fuck by the pages. But yeah, like it's a great way as well to kind of meet new people that you never knew existed before. So it's definitely a fucking nice environment.
Just for people watching, if you do have questions, throw them in the chat. So Benny, I don't know if he's watching the stream right now, but I can always say them, or that sort of thing as well.
Oh, I don't even know where to watch the stream.
Damn, it's even posted on your page. Damn, son.
That's taking up too much bandwidth.
Yeah, that's true. Dude, I've got YouTube open, the video chat open, and OBS.
Yeah.
And I'm on dial-up.
Okay, hold on. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, exactly, Dave. That is very true. When the community is small,
we are live.
Everyone wants to help
Okay,
everyone
so
learn.
where do I see these comments?
So they'll be on the right hand side.
If you click on the YouTube link, and then
YouTube channel. Okay, I'm streaming this on YouTube too. So.
Damn, double true.
So
I gotta help you guys out,
Yeah, that's true. We need all the help we can get, man. Shit.
Golf cam.
Okay, so now I can see the comments.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, you'll see random comments from a bunch of Kiwis.
All good.
You want to hit the next question, Tom?
Yeah, next question. Nice and simple one here. What are your favorite devices along the way? Like along your vaping journey, what are some of your favorite devices and juices you've come across?
So a lot of people think like I'm just all about scoundrels. I'm really not. Like I made it, and for a long time that's all I made because it was like my creation. It was like the thing that I imagined. So of course I'm gonna fucking vape the shit out of that. But along the way, other than AV, because I probably dropped AV like I don't know how many times. I grew to love the Rig Roughneck, the first Rig V1 with the Roughneck. That was like one of the ones that were like, oh, I need to have that, and I think I got the full copper setup too. So I just remember using it. But the one thing that I didn't like, and this is like kind of like how I kind of, you know, I guess designed the mod that like I wanted, right? The scoundrel is because like I've experienced like literally all the mech mods out there, everything from, you know, switch mods to rig, roughneck. I had the pleasure of getting or using a Ragnarok. What was another one? The turtle ship, the Nemesis.
Good old Nemes,
And a few others. But I mean, using all those devices, you know, there was like two common things that all of them missed, minus the AV. AV only had one issue, and that was like the ventilation. All their mods got ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
Like while I was like, when I was using AV mods and vaping, you know, I was building 0.06, 0.08.
Yeah, we both own AV.
Yeah, because I thought like, you know, that's how you got big clouds, you know, was, you know, building at 0.06 and super sub only. What, you know, and then the other issue that a lot of mech mod companies have is like the button switch. The springs, no matter what spring you have, they're gonna wear out. And once they wear out, you're not gonna get that like consistent button throw. You're not gonna get the consistent conductivity. And you're just like, you know, not gonna get a good experience after some time. Which AV did like a super good job with the magnet. Like the magnets, you never change the consistency. Unless you don't clean your shit and you just fucked up your own log right there. But you know, so that's like one of the things that I was like constantly thinking about when I was like first designing the scoundrel. I was like, how can I make this thing hit hard? And you know, there's gonna be a lot of people out there. They're gonna be like, "Oh, Benny, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about." But I'm telling you right now, like the best way to make a hard-hitting mod is to have two constant, you know, connections, two solid points of contact, which is your positive and your negative. And how you achieve that is by having literally one solid connection. It doesn't matter the surface area, it doesn't matter any of that. Like, you know, you're gonna get the best connection by limiting one connection point or trying to achieve one connection point on your battery. And, you know, when you machine like a flat contact, right, you're not gonna get one solid connection. Because guess what? That contact is not perfectly flat. It's almost impossible to machine something perfectly flat when you're trying to get like the best bargain price for, you know, your machining, so you can, you know, mark up your product and stuff. So that's why I designed the rounded contact. You know, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I don't like the rounded contact," and I'm like, "Okay, well, how did it hit first?" And they're like, "It hit amazing, but after that, it didn't hit that good anymore." And I was like, "Why?" They're like, "Oh, because it built up this black spot there." And I was like, "You know why it built up that black spot?" And they're like, "Why?" And I was like, "Because you don't clean your shit. That's why." So, you know, and then, I mean, to be honest, the only other thing right now that could probably possibly improve a mech mod is having a rounded 510 connector.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of companies don't want to do that. You know, they try other things like, you know, put a little, see, the thing is, a lot of people confuse what arcing really is. So arcing, right? Arcing is when you have electricity pass through gas, which is the air that's inside your mech mod. You know what I mean? So, you know, and how you create that air pocket is by having gaps between your battery and your contact, right? So the best way to have connection is to have a solid point of contact and literally try to limit that air pocket. So if you had a rounded contact, guess what? It's more than likely going to be at one specific spot than having a flat contact. And that's how you limit arcing. And the other way you limit arcing is by building above a point. actually it's around 0.15. If you build at around 0.15, you won't have any arcing issues. But the thing is, they're like, oh, how do I get vape? How do I make the big clouds? And I was like, dude, that's all in your wicking. Another thing that people like, tend to neglect is your wicking technique. Some people, they wick too tight, and that ends up choking off like the wick from the sides of your carns, or the e-liquid in the sides of your carns being drawn into the middle when your coil starts to heat up. So if you build too tight, guess what? The sides of your carns the juice isn't gonna flow from the side of the carns or side of the carn to the center.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is people are gonna look at their car and they're gonna be like, "Oh man, that thing still has juice. Hit it, and it's a dry hit." Guess what? You wick too tight. Yeah. And then the other issue is wicking not tight enough. So what I found is that the best wicking technique is that once you're done wicking, if you're able to just like kind of nudge it and move, and the car moves slightly, then you're good. But if it moves too much, then it's not enough. So it's pretty much being able to kind of find that sweet spot for yourself, depending on what diameter you have your coil. So I mean, there's a lot of mech mod companies out there that have potential. That's why I always try to tell people, hey, you should kind of like expand what devices you use. I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, this mech mod company is the best, that mech mod company is the best. But the thing that makes vaping so amazing is that there's constantly new things dropping. Now, if you don't take the time to kind of explore your options, then you're never going to know what device is good for you. If you're always sitting there and saying, oh, I want this because it's the most popular thing that's out there, then it's like you're kind of like fucking yourself. You're pretty much, it's pretty much like dating some girl in high school, right? And then, you date some girl in high school and then you're super comfortable with that person. But then, once you're done and you've like, once you've reached that point where, you don't want to explore any more options, then you don't know what else is out there for you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Or like, sticking with the car that you get in high school, you're always going to dump money into that car. You're always going to keep dumping money into that car instead of just like trying something new and then finding out later down the line, you're like, oh, I got to save myself, a couple $1,000s, like buying a new car instead of constantly trying to like dump money into this car when I already know it's like kind of crap, or I know the issues that I have with this car. So, I mean, I honestly think a lot more people just need to like explore their options and stop being so hype related. Oh, here's a question right here. Benny, if you could go back with Lost and start again, would you change anything you did? Yeah, I would do this shit by myself. That's exactly what I would have fucking done. Done this shit myself. Because the thing is, look,
about the Vaping Iwi.
Yeah. So the thing is, right? A lot of these people that I like worked with in the past, right? They like claim to know like everything about the industry because they've been in it for so long. But the thing is, like, the reason why I want to believe or think that the reason why the Lost like really kind of like excelled in what it did, or what the Lost excelled as a company was because of the fact that we weren't following what everybody else was doing.
Innovation.
And at one point it was just like one of my partners was like, oh, we should make more mods, and I was like, why? We're all comfortable with where we're at. We're only making like 100 to 200 mods, and we're selling out every single time. If we make more mods, it's not going to increase. It's not going to increase like the collector's aspect of the mod. We already had like a really good like niche in the market. I mean, I could have probably made like a $3,000 Damascus mod and made 2 of them, and we would have like sold out. But the thing is, like, everybody was like, oh no, I've been in the industry, I know what we're doing, oh blah blah blah, this and that. And I was just like, well, okay, yeah, sure. And eventually, because it was like 3 heads compared to me by myself, You know, I was getting outvoted every single time.
Yep.
So there came a point where I was just like, fuck it, I don't even like I'm so tired, like I don't even want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure people saw it, like, you know, because the thing is, like, you know, although it was my company at the time, along with, you know, my two other partners, it was like none of the things that I was like suggesting or wanting to do mattered. Like, if it, like, probably like a year ago, if we would have just stopped making Scoundrels and then focused on making a Squonk Fox mod, everybody would be happy. Because I wanted to make a Squonk like 6-8 months ago. You know, if we would have changed, like, because I think around the second, around the stainless steel, when we did the stainless steel mods, I said I want to make a 2700. You know, I wanted to make a 2700 mod, and they're like, "Oh no, that's a dumbass idea. There's only like one company making that."
Look at it now.
And yeah, look at 2700s now.
Look
Every company's got one.
Yeah. You know, and I'm pretty sure, and then the other one that was laughed at, right? The other one that was laughed at, I said, hey, I want to make an 18350 mod or an 18300 mod. You know why? Because I want people to be able to vape discreetly when they need
stealth.
and still
fuck
have something nice and, you know, you know, rare in their hands. Nobody's doing 18350. No one's doing 18300, but it's still a nice, like, compact vape that you can take out. You know, you build like a 0.2, and that battery will last you forever. But nobody wanted to believe me, and they're like, no, it's too, you know, we'll just sell Scoundrels until we can't sell it anymore. And I was like, that's not what LOS is all about. LOS is all about putting out quality, limited items.
Over quantity.
Nobody wanted to fucking listen to me. So I was just like, all right, that's cool. We'll just do whatever the fuck you guys want to go do. Because eventually I just, you know, got tired of trying to, like, argue or convince people, like, you know, hey, we should go do this. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's kind of, like, where I'm at.
No, fair enough.
I would have fucking done everything by myself if I had to.
Yeah. That's the thing as well, when you're trying to expand and you're trying to make quantity, you tend to lose the quality side as well. Like, if you're maximizing on quantity, things start to be like, they'll still be fairly good, but not as consistent. You'll get imperfections, you'll get all sorts of shit.
Well, I mean, right there, it was just already like, that was like, you know, turning back on what, you know, LOS was all about, which was all over quantity. And then we started making like 1,000 mods, and that's when I just like fucking shook my head. I mean, I was cool with making 1,000 like very affordable connoisseurs or whatever, but somebody pulled the trigger and went from 2,500 to 7,000, and I was like, yeah, that's a waste of money. That's such a waste of money. But for whatever fucking reason, somebody had the idea that they could sell like 7,000 mods, and that's not even the case. So that kind of like was like the start of the end, and that's when I like really just stopped giving a fuck about like what people wanted to go do, and just let them do whatever it was
Sit
that
back.
they wanted to do. Because you know what, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you know, I knew there were people watching the moves I was making, and I was gonna get picked up by somebody else. So, you know, and that's what ended up happening. Like, you know, 2 weeks ago, I got picked up by like 4 companies in less than 30 minutes after I announced that. So, you know, and now it's like, you know, one of the mech mod companies was thinking about making me a permanent edition. You know, I'm doing, you know, a thing in a totally different industry, which I'm going to be a part of, and I'm going to help blow up. So it's like, you know, I knew like, I'm losing right now, but that's not going to stop my drive for like, you know, what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one way to go, man, and that's straight up again. Simple as that. That a little bit kind of leads to the next question, though. What do you think that us as a community, not just, you know, American, but worldwide, we should strive to do together pretty much? What's your thought on that?
I really think that all the cutthroat shit needs to stop. Like, there definitely needs to be somebody out there that sets a standard.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I want to say, like, what is considered a collector's item and what is considered a general release item. Because the thing is, there's so many people like fucking up the definition of prototype, rare, one of, this and that, and it just really fucks up the market for everybody else. Not just like, you know, collectors and stuff, but I'm talking about more so retailers. Because the thing is, like, you know, some of these retailers, they do buy limited runs of things. They do buy, like, they'll buy like 5 of like a 20 off series. And then how are they supposed to sell that when, you know, there's constantly people out there saying, oh, this is rare, this is rare, this is rare. And that mech mod company isn't out there as much as, the retailer thinks. So nobody really knows that when they see like a mod they've never seen before, they'll fucking drop the money right there when there's a retailer that has something that's really authentic, really rare, and, you know, they end up not dropping the money because they fucking bought this like fucked up blem that they thought was rare. And that's what was going on too. And that's what the fuck I hated. I hated, like, you know, how all these like rare mods were being dropped, like from scoundrels, and none of them were like fucking rare. They were like all fucking blems. They're all blems. They're all fucked up mods. Or they were just like, you know, I mean, there were some mods out there that we did drop, and that's why I guess people message me still that are rare. But the thing is, not enough people know like what was rare and what was not. And, you know, I think that's like one of the things that, I probably would have done, or I would do different, you know, with my company. It's just like, you know, really, really make it so that nobody gets like a prototype. Nobody gets a one of, and only release the one ofs to people that are actually willing to buy them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And put like a ridiculous fucking price tag, because that's what these fucking one ofs already go for, a ridiculous fucking price tag.
Yeah. Especially when they flip them. Yep.
Yeah, especially when they flip them. I probably wouldn't sell like a retail mod for more than $1,500. And I mean, to some people, that's a lot of money. But the thing is, you know, at the height of the hype, I would say, when things were like truly rare, you know, scoundrels, like regular scoundrels, you know, some of the stuff that was like one of 200 were going for like 300 above RRP, which to me like fucking blew my mind. Yeah. But then again, you know, that's what a lot of people liked about the mods, was like they were really hard to get. They were super rare, and the packaging was like super different. Now I get PMs like every other day saying, oh, look at what Rig did. You know, they copied your whole like, you know, box thing, or, you know, I mean, at this point, it's like really, to me, it's not irritating. It's like more of like flattery, like, oh, cool, they picked that up. You know, glad to see somebody else stepping up the game. But the thing is, there's like so many things that I could do to packaging to make it better. But the thing is, it's like, you know, a lot of people like those casings. There's a lot of things I could do with like, you know, regular cardboard box packaging that I can make, you know, super unique. But the thing is, you know, I mean, now I'm not in a position to do that, so I can't do any of those things. But I mean, you know, really, I just wish I would have done all this by myself. Yeah. I mean, I easily had the ability to, but the thing is, I was just scared. And I think a lot of people that I work with kind of use that fear against me to kind of control, you know, the where the company was going, which was pretty shitty in my opinion. But I mean, you know, it's kind of like whatever at this point.
Well,
how are the states doing this far down the federal law change? Okay, so like I said, and this is like, I'm not even bullshitting you. I said this like, I want to say a lot of people think that these like regulations, right, are like super bad or whatever. But the thing is, it's kind of making sure that the quality of your vaping products and the quality of the establishments that you're going to are like up there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, you know, in San Diego, there used to be like a vape shop at like every single corner. There were people like mixing juice in their back to kind of cut on costs for like overhead and inventory and stuff like that. You know, now there's like 3 fucking shops in San Diego, 3 main ones that everybody goes to, and everybody goes to them. They're all doing well. They're all still making sales, but kind of the ones that were like cutting corners or like, you know, not doing as well are like kind of like eliminated. And I think that's what like scares everybody, because it's not easy money anymore.
Yeah.
People are scared of, you know, people were scared of like not being able to make easy money. But I mean, there are shops out there still flourishing. There are shops out there still doing well. There are shops out there still doing money. It just kind of decreased the amount of bullshit shops that were out there. Now imagine if like, you know, there was no like such thing as like federal law and stuff like that. Everybody would be buying like backyard juice and like shit mixed in a bathtub. Like, do you want any of that shit to happen? Like, do you want backyard juice? Like, exactly. Like, I don't even want that shit either. It's very unfortunate that like, the you know, federal laws are kind of strict. I'm not gonna lie, they're super strict. But the thing is, like, the vape shops that are willing to make it work and still willing to make vaping affordable for everybody are doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, they're constantly finding ways, and they're constantly like evolving their business, which is a good thing. And, you know, everybody else that like, you know, just started a vape shop to make money, now they're on to making money somewhere else.
And that's again correlates back to the whole quality over quantity. You know, you've got less shops, but better quality shops, versus a shitload of shops, but not so good quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I even said this like a few months ago. I was like, vaping's not going to die. It's just going to, you know, there's just going to be a lot more quality shops out there, because they do enough of the, you know, behind the scenes work to make sure that their shops are on top. Everybody else that was just doing it to make money, they can just like fuck off and, you know, go do something else.
Yeah. Definitely.
Good old money schemes, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think vaping is going anywhere. I really, you know, if anything, I'll probably get even more affordable, because the thing is, you know, China's always constantly coming out with new devices, and they're getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And on top of that, too, you know, I'm noticing that a lot more people are using box mods, like cheap, affordable box mods, because that's what starters are getting into.
Yep.
You know, it's easier for starters to get into vaping than it was like, you know, 3-4 years ago.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
And that's a good thing. And I don't know why, like, you know, I mean, mech mods was always like a collector's thing. It wasn't like meant to be mainstream. It was strictly just for collectors. And it's like, you know, like, I don't understand. And that's where I wanted to keep Scoundrels at, was like, you know, the few people that could afford them and buy them were going to be happy as shit with them.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I was going to go make, you know, an affordable Squonk box that was like $80 that you can go buy everywhere. And it would have been a done deal. Now I'm stuck with making limited edition designs for people that want to make limited edition mods. So it's like, you know, now I don't have that plan. But I mean, you know, that plan could still happen. It's just like, now I'm just kind of like in a rebuild phase where I'm just like slowly working and trying to get the capital that you know, I need to be able to do what it is that I want to go do. You know, it's kind of funny because people were like, "Oh, you should trust Benny," but like people in like the company that I work for obviously didn't trust anything that I was saying and didn't see the vision. And now it's like, you know, I get people constantly hitting me up like, "Bro, why did you leave the Scoundrels? I don't even know what they're doing anymore." And I'm like, I mean, you know, at this point, it's like, you know, whatever they're putting out, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Regardless if I was there or not, it's gonna be good. Is it gonna be what you wanted to see from me? Fuck no, because I can I can only do what I want to go do. And it's like, you know, if a company doesn't want to do what I want to go do, then it's never gonna fucking happen. But now, like, I'm in this position where I'm kind of like at a clean slate. I could just like build from here and just do whatever the fuck that I want to go do. You know, and that's not really like a bad thing. It's not a good thing because it's fucking scary. But you know, at this point, you know, I've learned enough through the past year or so to like know what I need to go do in order to make another great company.
Yeah, you've already basically got the
your name's already there, is
and the name's set as well. So
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You know, my name really did take a beating, but the thing is, the people that really know me, which is a lot of people, because I didn't, you know, I wasn't like kind of like doing this whole thing for social media. I wasn't like you know, faking the funk. If somebody wanted to talk to me, they could talk to me. If somebody, you know, asked me an opinion, I would give them my opinion. If somebody wanted to talk shit because that's how they could express their opinion, then they could talk shit to me. I don't care. Like, I'll take that and be like, okay, cool. That's how you feel, but it's this or that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I'm never opposed to anybody's like negative or positive, you know, criticisms.
Yeah.
I just kind of like take it for what it is and then, you know, kind of move on. But you know, when I was at the point where I like lost control of everything, especially like creatively, I was just like, man, I don't want to do this shit anymore. And I kind of just like kind of hid behind underneath a rock because like fuck, I didn't know what else I was gonna do. Like, you know. But you know, all those people that like inbox me and message me, you have no idea. Like, there were so many people trying to offer me money, and I was just like, no, I don't want your money. I just want you to like cheer me on when I'm like doing my next thing. And that's the great thing about like the vaping community, you know. As much as we all fight and argue and, you know, accuse people of whatever the fuck, you know, they'll like eventually put that shit off to the side and just be like, all right, this dude is still cool. He's still cool with me. He's still talking to me. I'll fucking support him in whatever it is that you know, he's doing next.
And that's where. Yeah, go for it, man.
No, I was just looking at. I just seen someone post up a question, so go ahead and say what you got to do, and I'll answer this question.
I was just gonna say, like, that's where, you know, you've sort of got people who follow you, like, in a sense, in a way, because of the fact that you're so approachable. Like, you're just, you know, regular guy, shots and pochanks, you know, that kind of shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
and that's where you've nailed that side of it so well that people still, you know, so to speak, rally behind you and will always follow what you do. And it's, for example, for myself, it was when I first started vaping like 4 years ago. After a couple of years, I got into make mods and stuff. And one of the first make mods I bought was a clone scoundrel.
It's all right. I don't care.
It was like, after getting that, I learned more about what you yourself did, and, you know, like what you were kind of like as a person towards the community and all that kind of stuff. Whereas you didn't frown upon people and all that kind of shit. And that's where those kind of beliefs are very strongly what myself and Cam feel as well.
Definitely,
like, if you're vaping, you're not smoking, you're doing a good job kind of thing. Like, you're trying to better your health. And that's where, you know, three years after that, I ended up buying like the number 4 scoundrel, like actual one. And I was like, mate, it was unreal the day I received it. I was like, holy shit, this is what like I always wanted. And it's still, from then on, it's, you know, fucking awesome mod and that shit like that. But it's still you as a person, your views on the whole thing that definitely makes like myself follow what you do and not really give a shit about what's happening with the mods, so to speak. Because of that positive outlook on the community, that positive approachability and shit. And that's where, you know, if you manage to succeed to keep going and continue on, basically rebrand yourself as you know, new mods, people are going to flock to that shit.
Yeah.
Because they trust you as a person, which is more important than trusting a company.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. So Dave Keen, thoughts, or actually no, sorry, I skipped Rick. Rick, was the fallout after leaving what you expected? Was it worse or less? You know what? To be honest, I really didn't know what to expect. I thought it was gonna be like, oh yeah, okay, fuck, Benny's not part of the Scoundrels anymore. Like, fuck, let me go over there to that other group. But the thing is, it's kind of funny because, you know, I don't know. People were telling me that somebody was like waving this like fucking contract around saying I like released everything. The fuck? How can I release a group that I made under my Facebook?
Yeah.
Like Facebook owns the rights to every single fucking page. Everything that you post on Facebook, they own the rights to. They can use those pictures. They can use anything. Like all the links, everything they can use because it's their fucking it's theirs.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how I can give a group that's in my Facebook away unless I like gave my personal Facebook to somebody else.
Yeah.
So you know, but the thing is, what people don't understand is the reason why there's so many people in that group is because there's people in that group that like, you know, was following me from the start, and that entire group isn't filled with people that like Scoundrels. That entire group is filled with people that love community.
Yeah, and
so it's like whether or not the name Scoundrel is on that group, people are gonna stay in that group not because of me, not because of a mech mod, but because of everybody in that fucking group.
Yeah, and that's obviously with the name change of the Scoundrel Group to obviously the Common Collective, because that's, you know,
and that's where like the majority of the people in that group, I don't know how many members are in it now, but you know, more than likely most of those people don't own a Scoundrel product anyway. They were there for that whole community feel and the whole no one's gonna look down at me for what I'm using and so on and so forth. And it definitely shows now more than ever that it's a very strong community, you know, with people posting about their gaming and all sorts of other stuff that they're into, whether it's, you know, mechanic stuff or anything, which is great, which is what we as a community here should kind of strive to work towards as well, which is we're vapors and it's great common grounds, but there is more common as well. Like we're still people. Yeah. And that's where that's fucking spot on.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people like miss that whole thing. Like the people that like just join or recently joined like within the past couple of months don't really know that about the group. Like I saw comments like, oh, I thought this was a vape group, or oh, I thought this was a whatever group, or oh, I thought this was for Scoundrels. I was like, no, bro, it's a group for you to meet common minds and get together and, you know, enjoy each other's company, whether it be in person, online, through gaming, through posting of car pics, all that. That's what that group is about. It's not about me trying to market my product, because you know what? At the time when I made the group, I was only focused on making 1 to 300 mods per month. That's it. I wasn't trying to make anything more than that. I wasn't trying to like expand and pump out thousands of mods. I was only trying to do 1 to 300 mods or less, you know? You know, so I knew there wasn't going to be enough for everybody that was going to be inside that group. What I knew was there was going to be a lot of people that were going to look for support in their like daily lives. Because the thing that I noticed about vaping, right? The thing that I noticed about vaping is that there's a lot of people that are in recovery. A lot of times, a lot of those people in recovery just need support, need people to talk to, need people to help keep them busy from like, you know, going back into their old, you know, lives. So that's why I made the Scoundrels group, is so that people that are just like looking for something to do or pass the time or like connect with others can connect and like interact with each other. Because the thing is, a lot of us like before, you know, there was the Scoundrel group, all the other mech mod groups, all I saw was handshakes. Yeah. But like, you know, I really didn't get to know like a lot of the people inside the group per se. And I was, you know, one of the admins for Cloud Chasing Academy. And, you know, a lot of people saw like when I would post, I would be like, hey, let's post something different other than a handshake. You know, let's post pictures of your car. and that's when I was like posting up pictures of like my fucking Lexus that I just picked up. You know, and you know, or like, hey, who here collects shoes? And people would like post in their shoes, and it wasn't like, you know, the shoes that I collect. It was just like random ass shoes, like Vans or like work boots and stuff like that. But you know, I got to know people slowly through those posts, as opposed to seeing what mods that they had on a daily basis. And that's like what I wanted. I wanted to learn about people. I wanted to know people, get to know people. You know, here, let me give you like a few names for my group. Stevie Graveline, that dude does parkour. Man, he would kill me if I said that. Parkour, he fishes and works at a vape shop. You know what I mean? And then there's Cody Webb, who owns, I think it's like a Volkswagen Golf, and it's like dumped, like to hell. You know, I just saw someone post up that they wanted to, you know, try to figure out if they wanted to buy an R1 or a fucking Aprilia, and everyone's like Aprilia. And you know, I hope to God that guy buys the Aprilia, because you know, an Aprilia compared to an R1 is like two different things. It's like it's like kind of like going from a Nissan to like a Ferrari. You know what I mean? But in the bike world. So you know, I hope and pray to God that guy buys the Aprilia. Who else? Tito. I didn't know Tito Bafumo, which was like one of my retailers. I didn't know that guy was like really into sneakers. You know, he has a consignment shop up in Pennsylvania that he's a partner with. Sole Providers. I didn't know that they like, you know, buy and sell sneakers on the side too. I'm thinking, who else? You know, we actually got a guy, I don't want to say his name or whatever, but we got a guy in our group that's like, you know, part of Special Forces. You know, it's like stuff like that. And I like, you know, got to know him, got to know who he was. We got a ton of veterans, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, you would never know those sort of things if all you posted was handshakes.
Yeah.
And that's why that's why I always strongly encourage like non-vape related posts, because the thing is, people forget about real life. Yeah. Especially when they're on social media, they forget about real life, and all they want to post is like, "Oh, look at this hyped ass mod," or "Oh, look at this hyped ass," or "Oh, let me promote my shit. Let me post a handshake that I'm gonna post in like 5,000 other groups." Yeah. And it's like people like I'm pretty sure someone out there is saying, "Oh no, it's not like that. You know, I still live my own regular life." But I was like, dude, if you live your own regular life, would you have to schedule when you have to go take a picture of your mod and juice?
Exactly.
Probably not.
And that's kind of the thing I love about you, dude, is like you are not just in it for the money. Like, yes, Scoundrel was obviously a very successful company, but you're also in it for the people. Like, there's I think there's 12,000 people in the Common Collective, and like you pretty much know 90% of those people. You know what they're posting. I know what they talk about. I know what they do on their personal lives. I know who's in recovery, who's not. I know who has their 5-year coin. I know who has their 3-year coin. I know almost everybody in that group. And it's like, you know, I even remember people that like left the group and came back after I announced I wasn't part of Scoundrel. And it's like, I'm like, I see that. I see you. You know, I haven't talked to you in a little bit. What's up? Yeah. You know, and like, it's nice, man. It's nice to be able to talk to people like that again, instead of like, you know, people growing tired of like how Scoundrels was, because of the fact like I couldn't really like control any of it anymore. And, you know, people saying like, you know, "Oh, fuck you, Benny, you changed." And I'm like, bro, I didn't change. I just like, I just lost in control of a lot of things, and a lot of people don't understand that. So, you know, let me go into, I don't want to forget about the people, because they're all like for sure
chatting. Yeah. So, Dave Keane, what are my thoughts on the next craze? You know what, to be honest, the next craze is now, which is the squonks. It's even tough for me to say, but you know, it's squonks. But you know what, to be honest, I have an idea right here in my head that would literally blow the entire Squonk Box game like apart. Sick. But
whatever it is, you know, I'll take 2.
Okay, so I am part of the group and hadn't bought a Scoundrel until very recently. was in it for a long time, and what you are saying is super true. People ask about computer components advice too. It's legit. Oh, so this guy's just talking about the group. I quit my sponsorship because handshakes got annoying and it was literally the only thing people cared about. See, there we
Sad
go.
but true, man. It really is.
They just know you as a vapor, and at the end of the day, as much as a good person you can be as a vapor, there's so much more to you. And that's where Chris McMeanan's comment there, where he's saying like it's such a good idea to get to know people, because like if you see handshakes and stuff like that, you go to like meets and stuff, and you don't know anyone.
You see the mod and you know the mod before you know the person, sort of thing.
You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's so crazy.
Like you don't get to know that person out of the vaping side of it. Which is it's a narrow field.
It's like, imagine, going to a vape convention, right? And meeting up people, and you're like, oh, cool, what mod are you rocking? Oh, yeah, it's the same one you posted last week. Cool. What else do you talk about that? What else do you talk about after?
Fuck all.
Yeah, I mean,
like nothing. And nothing. Most of the people, this is how I know, like, most of the people, like, are still stuck on vaping. Because I remember I went to the UK Vape Expo, right? I went to the UK Vape Expo, met a shit ton of people, right? And literally all we had to say was like, oh, Benny, nice mods, yada, 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 this and that. I can't afford a scoundrel, but I like what you do, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. And those people I easily forget because it's like, oh, the dude that just like talked about scoundrels.
Yeah, but, instead of getting to know you on like a personal kind of level. Yeah,
but there's a small handful of people, and I'm gonna give them a quick shout out. They're probably not gonna watch this. They probably don't even know this is up because I think they're just barely waking up right now because they're in the UK. But there was 4 people that I will never forget in the UK, right? And it's Mark Doherty, Nick Probet, Fayez, and his cousin Ray. They came out and visited me and actually like took me around town. I got to see the eye. We walked around London for a bit, and I'll never forget them. You know why? Because we had more in common talking about real life shit rather than, oh, Benny, what are you going to make next? Or, oh, Benny, what are you going to do? Like, I don't want to hear that shit. I deal with that on a daily basis, or I used to deal with that on a daily basis. If you want to talk to me about real life shit, because I'll know more about you, about the things that you do on a daily basis than I would ever find out through a mech mod preference.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Is there any new apparel coming from Devious?
Is there currently we still have some of these hats. The RIP social, so this is like, the prayer hands, but they're skulls or skeletons, and then it says RIP Social Club. And we still have some of the stuff up there on the website. But yeah, I guess the recent trend, this is what everybody's been asking me. They want shirts and hoodies and everything with my face on it. So that's what I've been working on.
As long as it says Ben Rambe, dude.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be the next fucking thing that goes viral. My face on fucking t-shirts and hoodies and shit. Who knows? But, I'm making it for the people that want to get it. And so far, it's like a shit ton.
Yeah.
No one knows you. It's like, it's a tight-knit community. Okay, cool. Exactly. Chris McKean.
I'm going to be that guy that's just going to spam the... your Devious link.
Stop.
Had to,
Stop.
man. It's awesome clothing, dude.
Exactly. My Instagram was flooded with handshakes, blah blah blah. Yeah, so I mean, I wish like more people just had the mentality of just like taking a break from actual vape stuff and like paying more attention to like real life stuff. I know some of these people out there, they're like, oh no, I have a real life. I do this, I do that. And I was just like, okay, well, you're out and about, putting your fucking mods in trees and shit and taking pictures of them when you could be out with your friends or working on your car.
Yeah. Doing something
thanks, Chris,
constructive.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, I almost cut it, but
don't cut it, dude.
I kind of like this.
If you ever come to New Zealand,
make it touch my nose.
The thing going back to that,
Josh? How you doing, bro?
Going back to that as well, with the whole like people posting handshakes and shit. Like a person can spend $4,000 on a mod, post a handshake, but then in the background they're driving a 1990 car that's
Yeah.
got two
Don't
wheels.
you hate on my 1995, my dude?
No. But what I'm meaning is that you don't understand the person the way you should.
Yeah.
So, for example, a handshake of a $4,000 mod, you're going to think that guy is just some rich prick.
Driving around
and-
in a Bentley, you know.
Yeah, but when in
Maserati.
reality, he's a normal guy who works his fucking ass off at a metal workshop or something like that, you know, slaving away
Yeah.
and having this very complex
hey.
life.
Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Whoever subscribed, thank you. I'm streaming this shit on Twitch too.
Oh shit, we're everywhere.
Fucking hell.
God damn.
Twitch, YouTube, it's all over the place.
And before
worldwide.
Benny gets banned from Twitch.
Oh, no, man. You know what? To be honest, whenever I stream and someone drops a hard R, I don't want to turn out like PewDiePie, so I immediately delete that because that's very inappropriate. I can understand everything else, you know, because that's all part of like everyday banter. But when you start saying like racial slurs and stuff like that,
yeah.
that's when I kind of gotta call it a quits.
Yeah.
True that, man. Same with us. Like, we use a lot of very crass language, but try and tone it down sometimes.
Don't tell my parents that.
Yeah,
kid.
don't tell Tom's mum that. She'll beat his ass and we have to watch.
Oh
It's
my
the
god.
same thing having a fancy car but a shitty house. Yeah, very true, man. Very,
Yeah, and that's
very
the thing.
true.
Like you see this person as, I don't want to be rude, but you see this person as almost like a prick because they're, you know, they've got this expensive thing or whatever, and that's no fault to them, but that's how your mind kind of works. It's just you see something super expensive and you think that person's kind of, you know, douchey or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And in fact, they're actually a really awesome person that you connect with
Yeah.
on so many more levels than you'd
Just
ever imagine.
a handshake, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? To be honest, okay, look, check this out. And I've like literally met like, you know, I've actually when I was at not Vape Summit, man, I forget what that convention in Houston was.
The Vapors Showcase?
No, not the Vaping Showcase. It was a different one. VapeCon. When I was at VapeCon in Houston, right? There was a guy that literally went up to my booth and was like, "Oh, what are these?" And I was like, "Oh, they're scoundrels." And they're like, "Oh, I've never heard of that before. What's the company all about?" And you know, I gave him the long speech, quality over quantity, limited edition, blah, blah. And he was like, "Oh, that's very cool." And he was rocking a Stab box mod. It was like a top hat. It was like $5,000. And he was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty digging these mods. You know, usually I don't buy box or I don't buy mechs, but you know what? I'm gonna buy one of your mechs." Come to find out, this dude's like, you know, part of the Hemo group. You know, has like fucking tons and tons and tons and tons of box mods, right? And you know, till this day, I believe he still has the rose gold that I sold him.
Damn.
And doesn't post it up, doesn't hand check it, doesn't do any of that shit. He's just kind of like in the group lurking. And you know, that's kind of like where you know when you know someone's like a true collector, right? They just kind of like buy their mods, they use them, put them aside, rotate through them, and don't fucking say shit about it. You know, and I mean that's kind of like what I appreciate about like the high-end collectors. You know, they have the mods and they don't need to show them; they just fucking have them.
Yeah.
As Jorge says, he knows a guy that could have gotten a car by now, but owns too many AVs. Yeah, I probably could have upgraded my car by now, but I'm still driving a 95 Daihatsu.
Oh my god, fucking George. George is fucking killing me.
Oh, dude. Oh, you're killing me.
Oh my god, David's like, doesn't matter what mod I hand check, I'm still a fucking drunk card.
Yeah, so Dave is a regular, so Dave lives close to Tom. Up like far north in New Zealand, and pretty much every event we go to, we call him 15 Beer Dave.
Because he drinks 15 beers.
At least.
At a show.
Like minimum.
Hey, what's up, man? Glad that I can catch you on the show, bro.
Well, is there any more questions before we kind of start signing off?
Not really much in the chat, hey?
Oh, shit. I just totally bought a schedule.
Oh my god.
Dude, one of your blue aluminums.
Oh my god.
Not a big fan of aluminum, but I've got a couple aluminums.
Here's the thing, right? Okay, so everybody that's out there watching, right? And this goes for like every single mod that you own. This just doesn't go for scoundrels, right? You need to properly maintain your mod.
Where is it? This shit right here, lifesaver.
3-in-1 oil. But don't forget that you need to wipe that shit off and actually wash it off.
Yeah.
Because 3-in-1 oil is non-conductive. And
yeah, it's...
Yeah.
This is the other shit I use, man. Mothers.
Mothers
is the shit.
So I'm gonna give you guys a quick, like, I guess, you know, mod maintenance schedule for you, right?
Sick.
If you're using one mod, right? If all you've been using is that one fucking mod or 1 or 2 mods, you need to clean those mods every 2 to 3 days. At least a wipe down. At least a wipe down. You need to do a cleaning. Now, this is a wipe down and a cleaning are 2 different things. A wipe down is literally where you take, like, you know, a polishing rag and you wipe your mod and all that. A cleaning is where you break it down and you know, take what Cam just like posted up, which was Mother's mag, and you need to like clean it. Now, when you start cleaning your mod, right, you're gonna see all this black residue. That's right, all that black residue is slowly taking down the conductivity of your mod, because instead of metal on metal on metal, right, you're getting metal on carbon on metal. So although you're going to get some conductivity, it's definitely going to greatly hinder the performance of your mod if you do not clean it. Now, a deep cleaning, I don't know if you guys have any of these, right? A deep cleaning is when you take apart your entire mod, put it in a sonic cleaner. I know some of you guys don't have sonic cleaners.
We both own ultrasonics.
Exactly. So you take your mod entirely apart, you stick it in a sonic cleaner. Well, actually, no, you polish it. You polish it with the mothers, you know, to break it apart. Then you rinse it out, put it in a sonic cleaner, and then you polish it with a dry polishing rag until it's dry, completely dry. And you will notice a night and day difference when you do this.
Yeah.
You know, when you start doing maintenance like this, you'll notice that your mod will hit the same exactly every single time you pick that shit up. Instead of, you know, me getting a PM, oh, Benny, my mod doesn't work. Or, oh, Benny, my top cap, it's not. No, I do not clay bar it. That's a little excessive. You know what I mean? But this is how you stop your mods from like malfunctioning, breaking, seizing up on you, is by properly cleaning every single inch of that mod. People don't understand. Owning a mech mod is like owning a handgun.
Yeah,
definitely. Know, everybody that's like serious about having a handgun, they clean that shit. Like even if it just sits, they clean that shit. They take it out and clean it before they even fire it. So guess what you should do with your mech mod, because it's metal too, right? You should, if you haven't touched the mod, clean that shit before you hit it. Clean it. At least wipe it down or like give it a good cleaning before you put an atomizer and a fresh build on it. Because I guarantee you, your mod will hit like the same exact way that it hit when you first got it, when you clean your mod like this.
That's an interesting
Okay, so Graham, Benny, I've got a black sheep and I've scrubbed it a lot, and it still doesn't perform like my other. It looks like there is plating in the threads that would cause the performance to drop. At that point, okay, so at that point it could be the plating, because the thing is, plating is only a layer, right? So if there's like, if it's not like a complete layer, then that means, you know, you're gonna get some conductivity issues. But the thing is, underneath that is white nickel. So if you polish that entire black sheet until it's down to the white nickel, you're gonna get the performance again. And the reason why, you know, it does that is because the black the black rhodium that's on top, right? It's not, if you played a mod in complete black rhodium, it's not really the best way. You have to put like a base. It's like kind of like painting cars and stuff. You know, you put a base coat and then you put your top coat, and then sometimes clear, but you don't want to put a clear coat on mech mods. But you put, so the black nickel and then there's white nickel underneath. All you want to do is just take off the black rhodium completely, and then just leave the white nickel. You'll still find that the white nickel kind of is like a black chrome, which looks pretty cool.
Yep.
So yeah, that's all you would have to do. And the other thing is, people don't understand is scoundrels kill batteries like no other mods on the market. Like, I don't know how many times I have to tell people. It's like, if you're building, all right, later, George, see you soon.
Catch you later, man.
If you're building below, or if you're building below 0.1, guaranteed your battery will die in 3 weeks. And when I say dead, you're literally gonna vape the shit out of it until like you can't, like when you charge it, you put it in your battery and it hits weak. So if you have a scoundrel out there, please replace your batteries every 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks actually, especially if you're building low on them.
Yeah,
like,
Tom.
Because you're gonna go one day, you're gonna go, oh man, like
My scoundrel's not hitting hard.
Yeah, my scoundrel's not hitting hard. I just took this battery off the charger. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, you know, you buy a fresh battery and then bam, hits hard again. And you're like, oh, it's the battery. So I don't know, maybe you might want to try cleaning the battery first, or taking the black rhodium, you know, plating off. And all you need to take the black rhodium plating off is either mother's mag and a drill press, or you know, really going in there deep and polishing the shit out of it. But yeah, that's why I tell people when they use plated mods to just use soap and water after you use it, because you know what, your hands, when your hands sweat, it's not just oil, it's acidic too, depending on your body's chemistry. So if you're constantly handling plated things, guess what? And not washing them and, you know, drying them off and taking all that acidic stuff off the mod, it's gonna eat away at the plating faster.
What's
You know it was coming.
What's your thoughts on using like a vinegar and water solution to kind of polish, I guess, copper contacts? No, just for like the copper contacts in a scoundrel.
I would, you know what, I really don't know how acidic vinegar is.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, if it was too acidic, it would eat away at the contact.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'd probably take like 2,000 or 3,000 grit sandpaper and just
slowly do it.
Yeah, and then polish it.
Yeah. That's sweet.
And that's with like all copper things.
Sick.
Damn. Sweet. How long have... Damn, we've been live for an hour and a half almost. Holy shit. Dude, like, we do an hour show, but, you know, it's great. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Sick. Awesome. That's all my questions pretty much sussed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, pretty much everyone's question in the chat's sussed as well. Obviously, we do have to say a massive thank you, Benny, for jumping on.
No worries.
As small-time Kiwis. Definitely a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show, and probably play some PUBG in about half an hour.
All right.
You know. But yeah, thank you for jumping on, and everyone out watching, 15 of you right now, thank you as well.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back next week, same time, hopefully.
Same place.
We're gonna go off on some clouds like usual, shall we?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, let me juice up because
I just had to re-drip.
Cam.
Yes, Thomas.
check your Facebook Messenger, my dude.
Sure, dude. Sharn. Well, hey, you know what? If you've never smoked cigarettes, I highly recommend not to pick up a mod. It's only for people like suffering from the addiction and nicotine. Because the thing is, okay, so for all the viewers out there that don't vape, or all the viewers that possibly will never pick up a cigarette or a vape, the reason why vaping is a lot healthier than cigarettes is because cigarettes have all these chemicals, right? Everybody thinks that propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin is like super bad for you because everyone associates propylene glycol with
antifreeze.
Antifreeze. But the thing is, like everything, there's like a grade for manufacturing and there's a food grade version. So the food grade version is what's in e-liquid. So instead of getting like the tobacco leaves treated with all these chemicals to get people addicted to smoking cigarettes, right? You get you just get PG, VG, and flavoring. So that's why it's a lot healthier, because instead of inhaling X amount of carcinogens, because carcinogens are caused by burning, not heating. Carcinogens are caused by burning, materials. But in vaping, you're just heating up liquid and vaporizing it. That's why it's called vaping. So everybody that's out there that doesn't know shit dilly squat about vaping, I promise you, it's like, I don't know, 100 times better. Because when I left the military and I was like inactive and unhealthy and still smoking cigarettes, compared to now, I'm lifting at the gym for like 2 hours, going on runs and, swimming and doing all this other active shit that I was doing while I was in the military. So as you can see, my lung quality has definitely improved from the time that I left the military until now. I just eat a lot. That's why I'm fat. Yeah.
But the whole thing as well with the whole antifreeze shit, like the coolant for cars and shit, the reason they use propylene glycol now is because they used to use ethylene glycol, which is
harmful,
like actually
animals.
Poisonous.
Yeah, that's super bad.
Yeah, and that's why they swapped it over to propylene glycol, as if like your pet was to consume your fucking antifreeze, it's not going to die from it.
Might get sick, but
don't drink fucking antifreeze. But at the end of the day, that's why they swapped it out. That's why there's this huge misconception about like, PG's bad, it's an antifreeze, but it's there because it's safer than fucking ethylene glycol.
Yeah, which is super poisonous.
Yeah,
like deadly poisonous.
Exactly.
Sick. I'm killing to play some PUBG.
I know you don't like it right now.
Dude. Alright, so we're gonna head off on some clouds as per usual, and
Alright.
Tom and I will be back next week. I don't know what Benny's doing next week. But also
Working.
Benny's Twitch is in there if you guys want to check it out as well. He does stream.
Yeah, watch my Twitch. I cuss a lot, but I'm telling you, it's super entertaining.
Oh, dude.
For sure.
Let's do this, and then we'll jump on Discord and jam some video games.
Sounds
Sweet.
good.